That is knackered. Bugger. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video on our little 2004, I think, Corsa C. Now, we're working down the list and we're getting through the list. That's good. The last one that I wrote down was the inner tie rod on near side, this side, is rattling a bit. Now, it was a, what's the word, an advisory on the last MOT that the inner tie rod was slack, so we're going to get another one and we're going to chuck it in, but I need to get it apart first because there's about 5 different lengths of these listed. That's on Eurocar parts anyway. So what I'm going to do is get it apart, measure it up, and then I'll probably throw it back together. Hopefully it'll be quite easy. Touch wood. And then we'll be able to move it until we get the right part. But anyway, so here we are. I suppose all we've got to do is get it up on the jack on some axle stands and get that wheel off, and we'll see what we're looking at. So with the wheel removed, we can see our inner tie rod, our track rod end, or track rod, and then that's the boot on the end of the steering rack. And if you can see in there, I hope you can. You can see the rack in there. Is that better? And you can see there's a clip on the inner side. There it is, of the gator, which we need to get off. That's a one-time clip, I think. Hard to see. I won't be able to show you getting it off, but we'll try. Well, no, I'll try and get it off. But this one's the easy one. Just pull that one off. And I think I'm going to give this a bit of a wire brush and a clean up. I was trying to see if I can show you the noise, because I tried driving it. Hang on. Let's see. You see that? Let's try again. I'll try and set you up on something so it's firm. You'll be able to see what I mean. I hope you can see all right. That's the clip we've just removed. That's the gator, and this is tie rod. So if I just wobble the disc and you listen and watch, can you hear and see that movement? So that's in the inner joint. So you can see we've got the clip off there, and the boot rotates now. So I should be able to pull that off. Might need 2 hands. But yeah, I'm going to need 2 hands because I'm weak. But we'll pull that one off in a sec. So this is when we congratulate ourselves for getting that off, and then we realise we have a problem. The slack that we thought was in this joint is not. Oh, you're moving then. Let's make you so you're a bit more steady. You see that? I don't know if you can see that, but that is not in the track rod end or the inner track rod, tie rod. That is the steering column. No, it's the steering rack. That is knackered. Oh. Bear with. Well, some time has passed. Quite a lot, actually. Enough time for me to actually go and get a reconditioned steering rack from Eurocar parts. I went and got it, and I can't remember what it was. I had 90 days to return the core, and you know, I had other stuff to do, so this went on the back burner a little bit, and then I thought, blimey, I'm going to have to fit that, otherwise I'll lose my core charge. But then I came across a kit. This is a repair kit. Can you see that? That's the number of it. Now this is a repair kit for this steering rack, and it actually comes with the bush that is worn out. So this is a replacement bush. Can you see that? I'll get you in some light. This is an uprated bush as well as a replacement bush. Now, apparently it's a common issue on these, on the Corsa C this sort of year, that the bush at this end of the rack wears, and it's not not the right material, basically. I mean, we've only done 60,000 miles in this, so yeah. So I returned that steering rack, which was, what did I say, £150 odd, and I got this kit, like I said, from Vauxhall, and it includes the bush, the clamps for the gaiters, both ends. I don't know if we're going to need that or not, because it's a different type of fitment. The other one is barbed in there. This is pushing. I think it's held by that. But it also comes with some grease and a seal for the input shaft from the column. So you can actually do, fix, if you've got a leaky input shaft, you can do that. Now, what I'm going to try and do, I'm sorry, it's a bit dark, is see if I can replace this bush without removing the steering column. Because to take the steering column, it looks to me like you've got to drop the subframe. And I've already disconnected the steering column because of all the water leaks, and we had to take all that apart. So what I'm going to try and do is take the track rod out, if I can. I should be able to get the track rod out, because I was going to replace it, wasn't I? And have a look, see if we can get that bush out and the new bush in situ. So let's have a go. Let's get in there, see if we can get this track rod off. And yeah, well, I'll set you up on the tripod somewhere. Hopefully you'll be able to see. As you can tell, it's going to be a bit awkward in there. I did have a torch earlier. I've left my torch somewhere. Anyway, we'll set you up here somewhere, or maybe looking down in there. And we'll see if we can get this apart. Might have to make a little pick tool or something and pull it out. I'm not sure. Right, let's get on with it. Oh, and I forgot to say, this kit from Vauxhall was £36. I mean, it was a while ago now, but that's what it was then, £36 compared to £150 for a replacement rack. Right, well, I've just turned the steering the other way so the shaft's all the way in. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to knock you on stuff because, well, that's just the way it works, isn't it? You can see the bush in there, and I'm guessing it'll come out somehow. I'll have to, it looks like there's some grease in there. I'll give it a clean up, and yeah, we'll see. But I got as much grease as I can out of it, and now we can definitely see the slack in that bush, can't we? Yes, we can. I'm trying to wiggle it without wiggling you. Yep. Let's push this all the way to the other side, see if we can get to the bush. So this is really hard to see, but there's like, I don't know if you can, I'm trying to hook the screwdriver in. There's like a barb. Can you see that? I'm trying my best. There's a few of those that got to come out around it. It's in like a groove, and then somehow we're going to have to pull that bush out. So obviously this is a really tight spot, and I can't really see with the camera there. So what I'm going to try and do is see if I can pop these little barbs out, or even break them off, and then try and pull that bush out. Wish me luck. So I've chipped all that out, which is basically the sort of barb that holds it in, and I'm hoping you can see, if I get you close enough, you can see the bush there. If I get you at an angle, you can see the groove that it was catching in. Can you see it? It is pretty awkward, but yeah, there's a little groove. So what I've got to do now is try and get that bush out. Not sure yet how. I was thinking I might put a screw in there, self-tapping screw, and try and pull it out. But we shall see, we shall see. So we use this monstrosity to get a screw into there, hopefully. And there's that screw, and then I just got to get, I'm hoping, a small pair of mole grips on it and try and pull it out. Woohoo! Yay! There we have the bush out, the bits I broke off, and the rack without the bush. So let's do some comparing of all the bits and make sure they're going to fit. Oh, she's slack. Oh, smooth. Well, looking at them with the bits that are missing, they're very similar, and this goes up and down the shaft lovely and smooth. I know it looks rubbish, but it worked. So I think basically next we've got to get this thing back in. I'm assuming that goes and holds it in, because obviously it hasn't got the barbed edges like that used to have. Right, we've got all our bits together. We've got a replacement clamp for our boot. That's obviously the new bush. That's the circlip that holds it in, because it's a different type to that. I found a washer that fits perfectly over that, and that was in my stash. I have no idea what thread it is. It's a weird thread, but that goes on the end of the steering rack. So hopefully I'm intending on putting that in and just pulling it in with the steering rack into position, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to splodge some of this grease around in it for good measure, since it's in the kit. And there we go. So I'll put you somewhere, hopefully, that you can see, and like I say, hopefully you'll see the process of it. Touch wood. So you guys are propped up. I hope you don't fall off, but we're trying to suck that bush into the hole. That worked? Ooh, it's in there. Has it stayed in there? I believe it has. That's a success. So next we've got to get the circlip in. So that bush is fully in, and I don't know if you can see it from the angle you are, the circlip is visible. Sorry, I'm rattling you. So all I'm going to do is try and get the circlip in I won't be able to push it all the way home because my pliers aren't long enough. So I'm trying to try not to hit you. If I can get this started in the hole, a bit like that, and then I can do exactly the same with the bolt, with a nut and washer, and pull that in as well, and it should just click. So let's try that. So same job with the circlip, hopefully. I'm hoping that washer will go in easy. Well, that's home. Let's see. Oh, we can't see with the washer in there. Hang on. Let's get that nut and washer out of the way. Oh, well, I can't remember if I said, but I disconnected this track rod end as well, so the rack wasn't restricted by anything in the knuckle, so to speak. And there we go, it's in. Oh, can we show you? Bird's eye view. There it is, circlips in, new bush is in. Proper job. All we've got to do now is put this track rod back, do that nut up at the other end, at this end, and obviously do the other side, and then bolt it all back together. Let's put it all back together again then. Let's put this on.
So just to explain what I'm doing here, at the back end of the tie rod there's a soft metal ring, and this needs to be hammered flat into the flat that's machined in the end of the steering rack. That's just to stop it coming undone and hold it in place.
Just got to do the boot now and put that clamp on. I can't do it with you there because you're where I want to be. So yeah, basically just got to push that clamp together where it's supposed to sit up back there, and then crimp that little bit, and that'll be done. Right, we're all back together. I've put the track rod end on. It's just a 17mm socket. Don't worry about that. That's just for me for leverage. And then you can see the boot is on, the little clip is on. It's not very even, the clip, but it's tight, so it's not going to come off. Yeah, so we're all there, and if I just stick that on there, hopefully you can see, if I can hold it still. There we go, we haven't got any slack. Is that holding still? Hang on. Try that. There we got movement and no clunking. All nice and tight. Nice. All I've got to do is put the wheels back on. I haven't connected the other track rod on yet, but that's just another 17mm from the bottom. Same as that one. Job done. So I'm not sure how well I explained how I actually got this out. Basically, these little barbed things go into the rack, and they were attached like that. what I did is I put a screwdriver in between this and the rack and bent them in like that. And then I got a bigger screwdriver in between, in there, and just went, tapped it with a little hammer, not hard, and it just broke it off at the base. So it broke them off all the way around. It takes a little while, and you've got to get them all off, all the way around, as you can see. But then, that's how I did it anyway. I chipped it off, and then obviously I just drove that little screw. I used a 2-inch 6 screw. I don't know what that is in metric, but yeah, it went in and then it pulled out fine, and just a bit of a lever and she's a good one. There we go. All back together, all sorted. We found the offended article. We managed to change it with the help of a little screw. That did work quite well. I'm glad that worked because I wasn't sure how that was going to come out otherwise. But yes, it's a job that can be done without taking the rack apart. Yes, it is a bit fiddly. Oops, excuse me. Just going to adjust you. But I would imagine that's a lot easier than taking the rack out. And cheaper than buying a recondition unit. What did I say it was? £36, I think. I've got it written down somewhere. Yeah, £36 when I got it. Now, I've got to apologise a little bit about this video, because the start of this video was months ago, and obviously I was looking at the track rod being loose, like worn out, but it wasn't. So yeah, it got, you know, we found other problems, and that's what happens when you're working on older cars. But it's sorted. It was definitely the issue, that bush. Yes, and it's sorted. Like I said, it's sorted. So that's enough waffle. We've got plenty more to do on this little car. But we'll get it done. It drives really nice. It will drive nicer now, obviously. Probably have to get the tracking done because we've been mucking around with the suspension. Get it back on the floor, but I've got another little job I want to do underneath before we do that. Anyway, I've waffled on enough. Thank you so much for watching. And hope to join us on another little Corsa C journey in the future. Look us up on Instagram, Larks_workshop. Got our Facebook page as well, the same, Larks Workshop. And, well, I hope to see you next time. Cheers then! That's something else we can cross off the list, even though it wasn't really that at all. So with the wheel mirror, no. Oh, you're right. Oh, bit of a crack. Okay. Sorry, I'm rattling you on stuff. Oh, let's try this again. I'm sorry.